Hello, hello, hello. We are live. We're going to get to some introductions in a second. If you are here for the Your Voice is Power AI and Songwriting, you're in the right place. Thanks so much for joining us. But to start things off, let's be sure to acknowledge these lands we're on. And this link that you see on the screen, I'm even going to call that out. Whose.land in English or in French is an amazing place where we can see all of the Indigenous peoples that are around us, find out information about treaties, cultural ideas. It's an awesome site. So check it out. But first, I would like to acknowledge I'm presenting from Calgary, which is Treaty 7 territory, the Indigenous homelands of the Blackfoot, the Kainai, Tsuut'ina, Stoney Nakoda, Métis are here as well, but just super fortunate that we are allowed to call these lands home. Well, with that, now on to the introductions. I'm Michelle Armstrong. I am the director of events for a company called Logix Academy that gets to work alongside Your Voice's Power. And helping me out today is one of our facilitators. We couldn't do the work we do without people like you, Bailey. Bailey, tell us a little about you.
Hi, everybody. Well, I'm super excited to be here with you all, first of all. And I'm also joining from Treaty 7, south of the Red Deer River in Alberta. And in my real life, I'm a high school English teacher. So I'm super duper excited to be here talking about how we can use AI ethically and wondering about bias with you all, because I think it's really important, especially in high school English.
Yes, so important for sure. Bailey, you're also joining us from your iPad, I believe, because your computer decided to give you a little bit of grief.
Yeah.
But you might be joining us back on your computer once it's all set up. So
Yes, we're looking good to join soon in the
love it, technology. We just do what we can. Speaking of technology, Amazon Future Engineers is one of the providers of the funding to help us do this work, to help Your Voice's Power create this AI engine. So we want to give a super huge shout out to them, as well as Your Voice's Power. And of course, CanCode provides funding too. Pretty cool. We get to do this work at no cost to you out there. All right. Well, if you are joining us live, or you're joining the recording, either or, you can pause us, rewind us, replay us at any time. But those that are here live, there is a way that you can communicate with us. You need to right now jump into a new tab, type in the link you see on the screen. We'll even put it down at the bottom there for you too, bit.ly/YVIP form. That's if you're joining us live. You know what? If you're joining the recording, we want you to dive into that link as well, because there's some resources in there that you're going to want to get your hands on. So Bailey, I don't know if you're able to jump into a new tab and get this all open. We'll see if it's going to work on your iPad. No worries if not. Okay, so if you are live, let us know where you're joining us from and put that in the form for us. However, Bailey, it kind of looks like we have no one watching live. So guess what, Bailey? You get to represent our student, and we're still going to make this engaging. So be ready for some questions. If you do happen to join us, jump into that forum. Let us know you're here, because we'd sure love to give you some shout outs. Okay. So this session is called What is the Role of AI in Songwriting? We have a resource that we're going to be using to just gather some of our thoughts. We also have some prompts that you're going to be able to take, copy, and paste. And those links, the link to your student workbook is in that form that I just linked. So we're going to put that link up there again. What I want y'all to do, jump into that form, and then you're going to see 3 links. I'm going to jump over to that form just so we can see what we're looking at. These 3 links, we've got a Google Docs version, we've got a Microsoft Word version, and we have the last case scenario. If neither of those work for you, just open that 3rd link, copy and paste the information into a new document, and away we'll be able to go. Bailey, were you able to get a copy of that student workbook?
I sure do. I'm looking at it right now.
Okay, perfect. So this is what your student workbook is going to look like. Teachers, this is a point where perhaps you'll want to pause this, make sure all of your students have that link handy. Let us know in the forum if you are joining live, let us know that you've got that link. But Bailey, glad to hear you have that link. So we're not going to go through every single thing in this workbook, but what we are going to be doing, you'll notice that there's some prompts that we're going to be able to copy and paste in a little bit. So take a moment, get yourself into this doc so that you can copy and paste those in just a little bit. Okay, what's next? Let's go back over here. All right, Bailey, we are going to use a chatbot to create some super cool song lyrics. But first, we need to learn a little bit about AI. So, Bailey, I'm going to give you a vocab check. Students watching this live or on the recording, what I want you to do right now, post it in the forum or have this discussion as a class. What are these words? Which ones do you know? Which ones don't you know? So Bailey, the first two, AI, artificial intelligence, and generative AI. What's the difference?
Well, at first, if you would have asked me this like a year ago, I don't think I could have told you the difference. But I think I have an idea now. So Michelle, you're going to have to steer me if I'm on the right track or not. But I think that AI is like the big umbrella of like the technology that's kind of exploded in the last year of like machine learning kind of comes to mind, and ChatGPT comes to mind. But then also like I know that there's AI like on Netflix that gives us like our recommendations, and like YouTube that gives us what videos. So I know that that's AI. So then I was asking some questions recently about like how come we refer to ChatGPT as a generative AI from somebody very smart who actually works in water treatment, wastewater treatment, Michelle. And I was like, what does wastewater treatment have to do with AI? Because you don't need words to treat wastewater. And this very, very smart person was like, oh, actually, generative AI is when you have an output like pictures or videos or words. And that's the specific part of the umbrella I'm assuming we're talking about today, because we're going to be creating words. But there's a whole bunch of AI that creates like algorithms and solves equations and all of that stuff too.
I love that you sort of kind of know, but maybe don't know exactly, which is awesome. Students watching this, Bailey is like an AI nerd, and we talk about AI all the time. But to break it down, like what's the difference? Bailey, you were on the right track. Netflix, that's the initial AI. That's like prediction. It's sort of like we know what the output is going to be. Generative AI, you're right, it's producing things, but it's actually producing things that never existed before. So when we're going to be generating these song lyrics, these songs don't exist. They're bits and pieces of what the AI has found and put together to make something brand new, generating something brand new. So look at that. We're learning. Large language models, students, large language models really are just all of the information that generative AI is using to give an output. Just know we're going to be talking about LLMs. So just know that's that big giant database. And Bailey, of course, we're going to be doing some prompting. I kind of feel like students probably know what prompts are. But Bailey, is there anything maybe we want to say specifically about prompts, do you think?
Well, I always think of teachers when I think of prompting, which is kind of silly because I am a teacher. So I think of teachers all the time. But I think about like when a teacher asks a really good question that really makes you go, oh, okay, I need to think deeply about this, or I need to think specifically about this part. So when I think about prompting, Michelle, I think about the first times I used like ChatGPT or any other generative AI that it was like, it was really silly prompts that weren't really meaningful at all. And now that I've learned a little bit more, I'm coming to understand how important it is to prompt clearly. So I'm sure we're going to talk about that today, about writing good prompts.
You bet. And that's exactly it. So prompting is what we put into our AI, and garbage in, garbage out, but we're going to show how we can do good prompts. Okay, so there's the definitions. Let me go back just in case you want to take a look at these definitions, but ultimately just know we're going to be using generative AI and our prompts that are going to go out to this large language model to make some awesome music. I think we should just, before we start diving into the real music that we want to create, the real lyrics, we're just going to explore AI just a little bit. So first things first, never put in personal data into any chatbot. Never share any information that's not already public, like your name, your address, your date of birth, nothing public, nothing like that. This tool that we're going to be using today, though, is specifically designed for students and to be safe. And if you do try to put in any personal info, it's going to say, whoa, this looks like personal info. Shouldn't be doing that. But not all chatbots do that. So, Bailey, do you have the AI Songwriter open? Are you able to do some prompting?
I do have it open right now.
Wonderful. Okay, so students, inside your notebook, your student workbook, you are going to scroll down and you are going to see on that first page, keep your private information private, but then you're going to see a link to the Songwriter bot. So I want you to click on that Songwriter bot, and then the very first prompt, create lyrics for a song that tells the true story of a caveman being chased by a dinosaur. So I just highlighted that. I copied it. I'm heading on over to my Songwriter bot, which I clicked on that link. I put in my prompt. I generate the lyrics, and it might take a while to generate. But Bailey, did you generate your lyrics for this caveman song?
Well, I tried.
Uh-huh.
But it said, I can generate song lyrics, but what you requested contains information that could be considered private or content that might be sensitive or inappropriate. Please try requesting lyrics on a different topic.
I love that it threw that error, Bailey, because look, on mine, it didn't throw the error. But this is exactly what we were testing out. This Songwriter bot is picking up something not quite right about this this scenario. Bailey, do you have any idea why it sort of flagged you as like, hey, you can't do that?
Well, I'm kind of keying in on the inappropriate part. So I wonder if there's something to do, like maybe this Songwriter bot had an extra violent song in mind that it didn't want to share. So I'm wondering if it's saying like, no, we're not gonna talk about that kind of violence.
That's exactly it. You're chasing a dinosaur. It's thinking like, oh, are you trying to hurt that dinosaur? So it's saying, whoa, nope, can't give the info. So very interesting that it picked up on that for you, but not for me. So students watching this, if you got that same error, try changing your prompt to a caveman looking for a dinosaur or something along those lines. So keep that in mind. Anything that it sees as maybe violent, it's going to flag it. Bailey, here, let's look at my beautiful, wonderful song. I won't make you sing it for us. Maybe later. We'll get
comfortable. I'm warmed up and everything,
Michelle. Running through the ancient trees, heart pounding like a tribal beat, footsteps shake the ground behind T-Rex on my primitive mind. Oh goodness, I'm not sure if I'm the best singer either. Bailey, the other thing I want to talk about is hallucinations. So hallucinations and students, hallucinations are when AI kind of makes up things that just aren't true. Bailey, what kind of things in my song are you picking up? Or maybe if you reprompted yours, what kind of hallucinations might, are you thinking of are in the song? And students, same thing out there. Teachers, if you want to pause and have this discussion about, wait a second, look closely. Maybe is it something to do with cave paintings? No, I think that cave paintings are real. What do you think, Bailey? What you got?
Well, do you want my really, really nerdy response, Michelle?
Absolutely.
So, did you know that there's no geologic evidence that humans and dinosaurs existed at the same time?
You know what, Bailey? I only know that because when I was doing this and my husband I was showing him, he's like, yeah, humans and dinosaurs didn't live at the same time. I'm like, what? So Bailey, I'm so glad. And students, like right now, if this is an aha moment for you, it's like, wait, but no, like they must have. What I ended up doing, let me go to share this tab. This is a perfect example of where, okay, we talked about that, the hallucinations. Yeah, dinosaurs and humans never lived at the same time. I said, what, really? So I went to the internet and I found articles. This one happens to be from Encyclopedia Britannica, something I trust. And it's like, oh my goodness, who knew? So for sure, when we're using AI, fact checking is so important. Watch for those hallucinations because yeah, AI sure seems confident.
Yeah,
but
especially because it's its job.
Yeah.
It's coded to give us an output.
Right.
So it's not going to say, well, actually, your song's impossible because so it's going to tell us what we want from it. So then that becomes even more of a responsibility on our role in using AI is being sure that we're extra checking it.
Yep, exactly. Okay, so that's thing one to watch out for when we're using AI. How do your lyrics change when you give it a musical style? So those of you watching this now, take a moment, go back to your song, and let's look at sort of this kind of, can't really tell what the style of my song is, but what if I go here, a dinosaur in a country music style? Let's do that. What style did you pick for yours, Bailey?
Pop. Taylor Swift style, obviously.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
And noticeable difference on your side? What kind of things did you see when you said pop?
Yeah, it's definitely more like, I would say like positive, maybe. Like it's less fearful, because I had a similar one to you where it was like, oh, I'm never gonna make it out of this. But this one is definitely more like, I'd never thought I'd find a friend to call my own till I saw those footprints leading in the clay.
So totally changes the tone, even when you change that style. Mine, if you take a look at mine, there's a whole lot of hyphenated words, running, praying. Isn't that interesting? It's kind of like a bias though, isn't it? Like, I wonder if a country musician would look at this and go, that's not real country music. Like, what are you trying to say? But just something.
Yeah, there's not nearly enough like trucks in this one to be country.
Exactly. Okay, so speaking about bias, we are going to dive in a little bit more and talk about bias. Bailey, if you were to give a definition even of bias, what is bias in the first place?
Well, Michelle, bias happens to be my favorite thing to talk about. I'm just teasing. There's lots of things I like more than bias. But basically, bias is when a piece of media, typically, so like a news or like a Facebook and Instagram post, or in our case, a generative AI output, when it has preconceived notions about how things should be, that it doesn't really consider to be its own ideas and not a fact of the matter.
Yeah, it's Yeah, it's misguided, I guess. So let's take a look. So students, you're going to go back to your workbook, go to activity 2. This is create lyrics for a song about a car mechanic trying to decide what to wear on a date. So I'm going to go back to my AI Songwriter. I can just paste in this new prompt, generate the lyrics. And Bailey, I kind of figure you might be able to guess what the bias is going to be even before we generate this. What's the huge bias here?
Well, the bias is that shops are dirty. No, I'm kidding. I'm just reading through mine right now to see if I can find it.
Ooh, interesting.
Let's see here. What do I wear when I'm not under cars? Trading my work boots for something new. Wonder if she'll see the real me through. Okay, so that was what I was looking for. Is I wonder if, because mechanics, I feel like you pick this prompt for us specifically because mechanics are pretty stereotypically men. And so obviously this is a song about a man getting ready, trading my work boots for something new, wondering if she'll see the real me through. I'm wondering if it's necessary that this man is getting ready for a date with a woman, if that's a piece of bias there.
Yeah, exactly. Automatically, we're thinking mechanic is male. What other professions and students? This is a great conversation. Teachers, pause now and get some answers from your students. What are other professions that we're going to see bias in our AI, gender bias specifically? So I'll ask that to you, Bailey. What are some other probable gender bias outputs we're going to find?
That's a really good question. Well, I think it's so funny talking about this because we've really come a long way in terms of like gender oriented professions in our world, but I think a lot of people still think about doctors as a masculine profession.
Let's try.
Let's see.
Doctors, and I wonder teachers.
Teachers, yeah.
I bet
we have 2 female teachers. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Stethoscope hanging on my floor. Got a date. Now I'm looking nervous. Ooh, interesting.
Oh,
this one doesn't say.
It doesn't have a gender in it.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that's the other thing, students, about using AI. Sometimes you expect the output, but sometimes actually maybe it is thinking about gender bias. So
or it could be, Michelle, that there's not enough gendered info in the bot's kind of database about doctors, that it's not making that assumption because the assumption doesn't exist in the data.
That's true. Right. Exactly. I'm going to change my prompt, and same thing out there. And Bailey, you can change yours. What if you change it to a song about a female mechanic trying to decide what to wear for a date? There we go. So I felt, so my hands are rough from working on the machines. Maybe he'll like it. I find it interesting that the first version was like bravado, where this version, I think it still feels almost a bias toward, what?
Yeah, ultra feminine women.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, mine even has, there's talk about mascara in my toolbox and lipstick by the lift. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So the moral of this story, students, is be aware of bias, specifically gender bias, and just be careful of that. We're going to go. There is another example in your student workbook that also talks about bias in languages. Sometimes if we want some French output, it's going to give us French from France, not French from Quebec. So just keep that in mind when you're doing translations as well. But we won't demo that. We're going to jump into the next one. So that was gender bias we talked about. Oh, I love this one, Bailey. This is a great one that talks about what happens when we ask AI about current things going on. So, students, the prompt in your workbook says create lyrics for a song about a famous athlete that's just been traded to another team. You can do that, but I actually thought of an even better prompt, Bailey, that has real current events. Create lyrics for a song about last night's Blue Jays game.
Oh.
Students, if you are not sure which game we're referring to, because maybe you're watching the recording, last night's Blue Jays game went to, I think, is it 18 innings?
18 innings.
And womp womp, the Blue Jays
Womp womp.
lost. So, Bailey, go ahead and put that into your songwriter. I'll do it myself as well.
What we can get here.
So create lyrics for a song about last night's Blue Jays game. And then we're going to generate those lyrics. And once you get that, Bailey, I want you to tell me what do you notice in your song?
Okay, let's see here.
Huh.
Vladdy at the plate. Oh, Rogers Center, Warren. That's interesting because they were at Dodger Stadium last night.
Right? That's right. Yep. And it's like it says, so let's see, bottom of the ninth, Vladdy at the plate. Okay, well, they know some of the players' names, even the nicknames. They were supposedly at Rogers Center last night. Let's fastball coming in. Did the Jays win at least? Oh, wow. We got one heck of a ride. It should end. We'll have to tell the AI songwriter, maybe change the vocab. But yeah, AI.
This is so interesting, Michelle, because like we're, 200 miles away from each other right now. And mine also says Alec was on the mound and that Springer is, this says Chapman at third, which that's kind of old news if you follow the Blue Jays. So I really wonder how old this is, because I can't remember when. I'll have to do some research on this. And again, this is that checking, right? Of like, okay, this is because the player of the game last night. You guys, let's talk about baseball instead of. But why isn't there anything about Barger in here? Probably because the database is from before Barger joined. He's only new this year, so yeah,
exactly. Mm-hmm. And that the moral of the story. So students, any AI engine that you're using is based on old information. Very few of our AI engines are currently up to date and seeking relevant, very current information. Yeah. So just be aware of that. The other thing I noticed, like, this is just such a happy song, like that knew I wanted the Patriots to win. So nothing related to what happened last night, though.
Totally. It makes me think, Michelle, like, there's lots of talk in many spaces about when we should use AI or when we shouldn't, and the big argument is that AI can never capture that human experience, and that this is the exact kind of situation. I think, like, how many Canadians were sitting tired last night watching that game but couldn't go to bed because it was absolutely captivating. And the fact of the matter is that experience is really hard to capture in words, and therefore really hard for an AI agent to figure out for us. And so that's kind of where our own agency comes as like creators. So we have this capacity to create awesome stuff.
Exactly. No, and that's so true. Like, just thinking about those kind of just questions about AI doing is awesome. Okay, so there's your hallucinations again. Hallucinations that definitely didn't happen last night. So your key takeaways: don't share private information with AI. AI can create hallucinations. Gen AI can be biased, and certainly doesn't reflect current events. So with that, this is where we're going to get into writing some songs about some really amazing Indigenous artists, which I love. So, in your student workbook, Bailey, I think there should be a link. Let me just scroll down and find it. By the way, teachers, students, there's all sorts of other activities in here as well. So by all means, you can check through those. But what we're looking for now is activity 5. We're going to go to the Indigenous Role Models Gallery. So Bailey, I'm not sure if you've checked this out yet. So Your Voice is Power, this organization, they do a bunch of stuff, but it's mostly focused on Indigenous music, or Indigenous, role models, I guess. Now, this page has, I'm not even sure how many, but a number of Indigenous, in this case, this is an Indigenous entertainer. Alicia is Indigenous graphic artist. We've got Carl he's works within culture. So teachers and students, if this is a point where you want to pause and dive into some of these Indigenous role models, we highly encourage it. We're going to just take a look at one of them to help us write our song. So Bailey, we're going to go down to Melissa. I'm going to just show you, look at all of these incredible Indigenous people. There's Angela, we got Alex. Oh, Lee.
There's such a variety in here.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
amazing. Yeah.
I do wish we had the time to explore them all, but we are going to highlight Melissa. So Melissa Haney, she's Inuit, lives in Nunavut. And to read more about Melissa, we're going to open this up. And if you read through all of this, basically, Melissa kind of loved planes and loved flying, but figured she'll never be able to be a pilot because, well, A, pilots just don't look like her. B, oh, she's no good at math. C, so these are just, I'm going to pull out just some things that she says. If I don't see it, it's something that I can't do. Like, she didn't see Indigenous people as pilots. She also then, she met Indigenous pilots, and then she's like, oh my gosh, maybe I can do it. This is amazing, gaining the confidence. She also, though, thought because she wore glasses and because she really doesn't know math, well, she'd never be able to be a pilot, but then found out, guess what? High school math, problem solving, these are all things that are helping her become a pilot. And yeah, pilots can wear glasses. So the story goes on and tells a whole lot more, but just love that Melissa was able to become a pilot. And we're going to write a song about Melissa. But Bailey, this is where I'm going to put you on the spot. We're going to write lyrics, just the chorus for Melissa's story, not using AI. So this goes back to your comment, Bailey, on how, hey, we are creators. Let's use our own minds first. So this was my chorus, but Bailey, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to write a chorus. And then students, we're going to give a 2-minute timer so you can write a story, a chorus without using AI. But here's mine. I can achieve anything, find my path. I solve problems and know basic math. So what if I wear glasses? That won't stop me to be a pilot. My vision, that's what I'm going to be. Okay, it's maybe a bit rusty, but students, we want you to take some time, write your own song lyrics. We're going to give you 2 minutes. I'm going to go full screen on here, and Bailey, in 2 minutes, we'll check back in with you and hear your song. All right, Bailey. 5. All right. How'd you do?
Pretty good. Melissa's story is amazing, and she's really inspiring, and she shared some really great stuff about her path. So what I did, my process was to just find a few things in her write up that spoke to me and that I felt like I could also resonate with. And the things that the things that popped out for me was this idea that, oh, I thought you had to have perfect sight, because I also thought that. Actually didn't know that that was the case. But and then the idea of mentorships are always important to me, so I really like that she gave a shout out to mentors. So I talked about that a little bit in my chorus. And then I was a little stuck on how to wrap it up, so I looked for a specific word that I liked. So I used the word soar to end my chorus. Would you like to hear it?
I would.
Okay. Oh, and I really liked that she talked about how it wasn't like an easy or like sensical thing to become a pilot for her. Like, it took some time and some different testing. So I said, it's also not rhyming because I am avant-garde.
Perfect.
The path isn't straight, but it's easy enough to see. It's lit by guides who have helped find the way off the ground, ready to soar. And it needs another
Wow.
line, but that's that.
But how great. And that process that you used, looking at specific words within her write up. So, students, I think what this is just showing us is to take that time to see what we can produce on our own before we turn to AI is so, so important. Taking in all of that information that Melissa had in her story. Like, that was great job, Bailey.
Thank
Exactly what
you.
we were looking for. All right. Well, now we're going to be able to use AI to write our song. And this is, like Bailey mentioned before, we need to have good prompts if we're going to have a good output. So we want to make sure you're giving specific details. How long do you want this to be, your song? What style do you want it to be? And what tone? And all of this is in your student notebook. But breaking it down even more. So this table, you'll see this table is in your notebook, but here's my prompt. Write a song about a girl from Nineveh named Melissa who wants to be a pilot. She knows enough math and can problem solve well. She also wears glasses, but that's okay. It should be 4 verses with 4 lines each, and the chorus should go after spelled verse wrong, after verse 2 and verse 4. So being very specific about that length and that format. It should be hip hop style in a hopeful, positive tone. So what I did with this, Bailey, I just copied this, pasted it into my AI songwriter, and got a pretty good song about Melissa. So maybe let's just take a quick peek at the song that I had. So you'll notice very specifically, I said I want 4 verses. I want the chorus to go after verse 2 and then repeat the chorus again at the end. So it did that and actually created kind of a cool song about Melissa. So with that, Bailey, what I want you to do, and students out there, I want you to use that table inside your student notebook, highlight those 4 things. So once you've got all of those boxes filled in, just copy and you should be able to paste the whole thing into your AI songwriter and have another song about Melissa. So Bailey, we're going to give you and students out there 2 more minutes. This time, use AI to create your song. Ready, set, go. 5 seconds may not have been enough time. Teachers, if you need more time, pause here. Definitely let your students explore creating that song. Bailey, tell us about the song that it created. What did you like? What didn't you like?
Yeah, so I used pretty much the same prompt as you, Michelle. I got specific. Melissa from an Inuit girl from Nunavut. She's a pilot, something she never dreamed she could be. She relied on mentors because, like I said, that was important to me. I really liked, I asked it to build a bridge before the chorus.
Ooh.
And I really liked the bridge. Can I read it to you?
Yes, please.
Sometimes all it takes is someone else to see the strength that's lying dormant in who we're meant to be. And I think about like the chorus that I wrote, and it actually goes really well. So I think like that bridge, it would take a little bit of like tweaking to make it my own voice, because that's something that's really important to me, is that it sounds like something I would say, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. The thing I noticed about the rest of the text is I don't think I would use a lot of it, just because it got really specific. It used the word Melissa a lot, and I don't think that I would write a song like this assignment obviously is writing about an Indigenous role model, and Melissa is an important one, so names would be important here. But if I were to kind of take Melissa's story as inspiration for a song, I don't know if I would be like as on the nose as the AI as the results that the AI gave me. So that's definitely giving me like places to start. There's lines in here that are really good. Her dream stayed locked inside her heart till someone helped her soar. Now she's climbing through the clouds with heights unknown before. But there's also stuff that's like, I feel like it's a little stereotypical. Like I have the same thing actually. So it tells me what this agent knows about the North is that there's northern lights and tundra. So
Yes.
I know that there's much more to life in the North than the northern lights and the tundra. So I would want to be sure that that was reflected in the song, just because I know that I've had the opportunity to learn about things like that, right? So I would definitely use what I've been given by the AI as sort of a jumping off point, but there's definitely changes I can see I would make as well.
Excellent. I love that. And I was going to ask you, did it use the word soar? Because you picked that out as something you wanted. And lo and behold, AI put it in there. It put it in mine as well. She's going to soar. Students, this is where right now you need to look really closely at these lyrics. What would you keep? What would you change? And most importantly, why? So Bailey did a great job just explaining why you would make the changes. And I think that's super important, students, for you to do as well. Now what I want us to do, this is where we get kind of into a little sort of heavier conversations. Should we even be using AI to write songs in the first place? What does AI do well? What does AI not do so well? And what are some of the sort of legal and ethical aspects of using generative AI, especially for songwriting? So Bailey, I think I'm going to put you on the spot, and I want to, what's one thing that the AI did well for you?
It's the same kind of thing that AI has done well for me in my use of it. I think that I'm quite a creative person, but my creative process is quite slow, and it takes me a while to get going on it. So like now that I'm sitting here after following your lesson, Michelle, I'm like, oh, I could totally get something like this on paper, but it never would have happened as quickly. So I mean, that's also a question of preference. Do you want your creative process to start quickly, or are you able and willing and happy to sit in the messy and uncomfortable beginning parts, right? So that's what I always find that I'm typically going to use when I'm looking to use AI, whether it's for like personal work or my own professional work, it's typically to start something. Give me a shell, give me a structure. Like I like that bridge. I really like that bridge, but there's not much else I would keep from it, right? So it started me off in a good way. Yeah.
Love it. Awesome. And then, of course, limitations. You pointed out just that bias. There's so much more to the North. So for sure, those bias, maybe hallucinations, we already know that's the negative side. Now, what about legal and ethical? I think I'll go to my next slide so we can talk about this. what about copyright? Like,
Mm-hmm.
who owns this song? It's your prompt, but it's a company's AI engine that is pulling from a bunch of different places. What are your thoughts
Mm-hmm.
on copyright?
This is really tricky, and one of those really they're called wicked problems, where you couldn't possibly have an answer to it. And I think there's no good answer, and that's kind of the exciting and the part that gives us pause when we're in kind of an era of technology booms like we are right now in AI. So there's a lot of different opinions out there, and I've been spending a lot of time learning from folks.
Yeah,
So a lot of people are saying like it's unethical and illegal from the get-go, because a lot of these AI agents are trained on copyrighted and creative material that other people have generated,
yeah,
right? So that's a concern for me, and especially a concern for me as somebody who is a creative person, and I know the importance of generating something that's true to myself. I don't want it to be kind of shared willy-nilly.
yeah,
But I also know that the legal definitions of copyright don't work, because even especially in an academic setting, because these are new. So who are we supposed to cite? This is a
yeah,
totally novel thing, right?
yeah, yep.
Yeah.
And that brings us into citations, plagiarism. So students, if you just copy and paste something from the internet, well, that's plagiarism. You also know if you're using sources, you need to cite your sources. How do we cite our song where AI is pulling ideas from multiple locations? It might actually be pulling actual lyrics from someone else's song.
Hmm.
Wow, how do we cite that? And is it plagiarism, right?
Yeah.
So students, just something to keep in mind. If you are using AI, be super transparent and cite your source. This song was partially generated by AI using AI Songwriter, but keep that in mind.
Yeah. I think if I was engaging in this kind of work in school, especially with, I love the Your Voices Power AI song bot, but I think I would make sure that I had a document going of all of the prompts or all of the output it gave me, because
Yes.
that's a nice thing about the bot, is that it's there and you can just type and go. But it also kind of makes it challenging to prove what's yours and what's generated. So I think
That's
my advice to you students would be to have a document going with all of what the Songbot has given you. So then if somebody asks a question, or if you need to look back and go, okay, what was I inspired by and what is my own?
Yeah,
It's right there in the document.
exactly. And by design, the AI Songwriter does not save your prompts. You can
Hmm.
copy it and paste it over into that student workbook, but it doesn't save specifically because it doesn't want to keep any of your private information.
Hmm.
So, and then um, we have to consider, of course, what are the policies in your school. So Bailey and I are talking about a very specific AI chatbot to help us write some music lyrics. We're talking about just the ethics of all of that, but ultimately, your school, your teacher, whether you're in a job, they really determine what is the role of AI in those situations. So make sure you know what the policies are.
Yeah. And
Um,
Michelle, can I add one more thing about that?
yes.
I think in terms of like, using generative AI at school and at work, and I'm as somebody who's working, and I'm speaking to you who are in school right now, just be transparent about it. There's nothing to hide if you are being honest and acting with integrity when you're using this AI. So be open and honest with your teachers and your bosses if you're in a spot where you have a chance to use AI for work, and we're all just trying to figure it out together. So let's
Totally.
keep being open and honest with one another.
Yeah. Um, Sweet. Well, on that note, we're gonna see what a musician thinks about AI in songwriting. So we're gonna come on over here. Whoops, not like that. We aren't. I was kind of hoping I could get this full screen. I don't know why it's not going full screen for me, Bailey. Let me refresh.
Yeah, a good refresh always helps.
It wants me to go pick. There it is. How nice.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Hopefully we've got audio, and there we go.
Abuashtino, Dukinyo, Wahunkthi AD in New Gebit. I said, my name is Yellow Bear Nakota. I go by YB Nakota. I choose to use my spirit name because I'm an indigenous artist. I connect into that spiritual realm when I use my spiritual name. So that's why I'm here to share medicine and lift people's spirits up through the power of the drum. So that's what I do. No, I don't think AI can replace any songwriter because that talent comes within. You know what I mean? Music is soul. When someone's telling a story about a real story of who you are, but if you're just reading a piece of paper and trying to do it like that, bro, nah, man. That's my opinion is no. If I wanted to like write a song, maybe, and I'm lost, I could ask AI for a word, and then I'll build off that. And I'm not making AI write my whole lyrics or anything like that. You know, I'm an indigenous singer, and AI is far from that. I have identity, and AI is a wonderful tool, and it's there to help, but not write your songs. What excites me is that when you don't have a very good vocabulary, like the AI it will help you. You know what I mean? It'll give you words that you don't know, and if you're missing a word, it'll fill in that blank for you. So yeah, man, like, to be honest, be truthful to yourself. Be genuine. It's all about just being truthful when it comes, because writing songs, man, it's like you're connecting with many others. So for me as an artist, AI is never my thing. I wouldn't be proud if a song is out there on all streaming platforms and it's all AI. I wouldn't even be proud, you know. I'll be like, look at that, man. Like, I'm saying the lyrics, but it's not even me, you know. It doesn't have your feelings, and it doesn't have your connection. It doesn't have your spidey senses, pretty much. You know what I mean? When you're singing, it's a gift from Creator, man. Yeah, like you're really tapping into that channel and those other realms. So when you open up that realm, it's just like it flows through you, and medicine goes through you, and everybody's feeling your vibrations. I would say, kids, be you, be truthful. You guys, your minds are learning every day. Find the beat, hear the rhythm of it. And if you need help, punch in a few words, get it from the AI, add it in, and then flow off that. That's what it's good for. That's what it's there for, is for the research that you don't have, and it's there. Keep doing you, man. Keep being beautiful and making all that beautiful medicine, because the world needs it. We need it, man. Love to hear y'all, man. Tap in for sure. It's YB Nakota.
Love that so much. Thank you, YB Nakota. With that, Bailey, we are at the end of our time together. Let's go back here. Oh, one more time. Interesting. Come on now.
We've got the gremlins.
There we go. There we go. Well, with that, we want to say, again, a huge thank you to our friends at Your Voice is Power and CanCode. Oh, before we do, I wonder, am I missing a slide? It is Gremlins. Let's do that. There it is. That's the one I wanted to show you.
Yeah.
Students and teachers encourage you to jump over to the Your Voice is Power website. Not only do they have this AI songwriter activity, they have 8 additional modules where you can learn how to create your own music using Python coding. It's actually not that hard, but you can also enter to win a chance at a $5,000 scholarship. Teachers, if you're interested in learning more about the full Your Voices Power program, check your email, respond to that email, and we can get that information to you. And this is where we get to the homework portion of our workshop. Students, don't worry. The homework's not for you. The homework is for your teachers. Teachers, check your email. Super important exit survey in there for you to fill out. We could not continue to do this work and get the funding from our partners if they don't hear from you and know that we're actually doing this work. So please take a moment, fill out that survey. Bailey, with that, any final words from you?
Well, thanks, Michelle, for guiding us through this lesson. And obviously, thanks, YB Nakota. Awesome insight. And it's super helpful to hear from somebody who's actively creating about why it's important to create. So, yeah, thanks for wrapping up on that. And yeah, I encourage all of our students joining us from the future, or those of us who are here with us now, to just keep on creating and sharing your voice because it's important.
Yeah. Love that for sure. Okay, well, with that, thank you, Bailey. Thank you, teachers, for joining us, for watching this recording. Thank you, students. And we sure hope to see you in another lesson soon. Have a great rest of your day.